Hey guys, Dave from Wolfhard Hobbying here, and we're going to continue looking at painting the Fulung Devourer. And as stated in the previous episode of painting this guy, I came in and I painted all the brass and the belts and things like that. With these little embellishments, it's starting to really make the model look really amazing now, instead of it just being this big green blob. But in this video, we're going to take a look at painting all the beard, the facial hair, the whiskers, and the fur on the end of his tail. Now the color I want to go for is kind of a yellow, so I'm coming in with Averland Sunset to begin. I chose yellow to really make the eye drawn to the dragon itself. It is a huge model compared to some of the others, but I really wanted it to stand out, so this yellow against fairly dark green is good contrast, so it really brightens up the model a little bit. So just going around the whole model, getting all the beard. He's got some of that fur coming off around from his eyes as well. So just go around the whole model with this. I'm not worrying too much about the under part of the facial hair. I think I do one base coat under it, but it's going to be hidden for the most part, so you don't really have to worry about that. Again, being careful around the eye part here, as the fur doesn't go all the way up to the eye socket, so you want to leave a little bit of that green in there. But it's not a huge deal. It's an easy fix if you happen to go too far in. So as you can see, it's really bringing out the face of that dragon. So next, I'm just going to paint the whiskers the exact same color. Here, you could do a personal preference. Because I chose the wavy kind of whiskers, I wanted to do it the same color. If you chose the other whiskers from this kit, again, it's a Kickstarter kit, so I'm not sure if these wavy whiskers are in it, but you could do those other whiskers, say in a metallic, kind of like an armor or something like that, but it's personal preference. So again, the tail part here, you can go for an artistic choice at this point. I'm choosing to paint right over the bump that is part of the tail, kind of give it that the hair is growing from that point, and it's also covered. You could leave that the green or whatever color you paint your dragon, but again, it's an artistic choice. I decided to go right over it, just because I felt like that would be a better choice. But again, as you can see, you're going to need two base coats for this, as it is thinned down and it is a bright pigment, and usually your bright pigments you need to do more than one coat. I think I only do two because this is a base color from Citadel, so it's got a heavier pigment than layers or anything like that. So just flipping the model over and going to do the underside of the tail. So as you can see, I did decide to go in and paint the underside of that whisker, but already it's starting to really break up the model here, starting to look really nice. So with the base coats dry, I'm going to come in and I'm going to use Seraphim Sepia. This is a nice warm brown tone, and I do a heavy load of this on the model, and I wanted that. I wanted this sepia color to really tint that yellow and bring it down even further into, say, almost a brown spectrum. But you wouldn't want to use Agrax Earthshade, as Agrax Earthshade is a little darker and gives it a little cold feeling, and I want the yellow to be very warm and brighten up the model, because the green kind of makes it feel a little cold too, so this bright yellow would be really nice to warm up the model. So just going over, making sure you get good coverage. You don't want to go too heavy with the wash to the point where it's dripping off the model, because that's going to make a big mess on your painting desk or wherever you paint, but also it's going to give you a really weird look in the end. So you just want to work a lot of this into the crevices of the model, of the hairs and everything like that. But I didn't do the underside of the chin with this wash because, again, you're not going to see that at all. So I decided to skip that part. You could, if you really wanted to, skip the underside of the tail part here as well. But I go in and I did that. So just cleaning up some of the wash on the top there. Went a little too heavy. And the whiskers, you could leave the whiskers as well. I do go in with the sepia just to give it a little bit of a tint. But that's a personal preference there. I wanted to tint it to have it look the same as the beard and everything like that. So that's just a stylized approach. But with the wash dry now, we're going to come in and we're going to do a highlight of Uriel Yellow. This is a mid-tone yellow, and I'm going to edge highlight all the predominant hairs on the model. This is very, very time consuming, so it's up to you if you want to do it this way. I'm going to show you the edge highlighting, but I'm also going to show you how it would look with if you went and dry brushed it. So as you can see here, just picking out the hairs that stand out the most. I'm already going to spend a lot of time doing this on the face, so I didn't want to add any more time by trying to make little hairs and everything like that where there isn't any. But it's time consuming, but it really does make the highlights stand out and pop, which is what I want to go for. I really want these details to come out because they are amazing details on this model, and I wanted that to kind of showcase every time I put this model on the table, or any model really. So skipping ahead, you can see I've done most of the beard, just finishing up the front part here. It did take me quite a bit of time to do all those tiny little hairs. So now I'm going to do the whiskers next. And this is just going to be, again, edge highlighting. I'm just going to hit the tops of the whiskers here. Not going too far with this highlight as I spent enough time with the actual hairs. I don't want to spend any more time edge highlighting these parts. So just hitting the tops, kind of like what I did with the horns. Just finding where the light would hit the most on this guy and painting that up. So as you can see, just hitting the tops, working a little bit down, and that is it. Now I am going to show you the dry brushing effect on the bottom part of the tail, and then you can decide how you want to do it. Dry brushing is a faster method, but I find the highlights are a little too subtle for my taste. Again, like I said, I want these details to pop, but anyways, we're going to come in with our dry brush. Just getting it loaded up here. And we're going to do a very light dry brush. Now, again, if you're dry brushing, you can take highlights even farther, I find. But as you can see, the highlight is not as noticeable. It's fairly light. So it's all the effect you want to go for. Again, as you can see here, those little hairs pop up real nicely. But you can leave them at this, but I'm going to take it one step further. I want this hair to feel celestial in a way, or mythical, magical, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to come in with Citadel's Dry Golden Griffin. This is meant for dry brushing. And I'm not going to do it over the entirety of all the hairs. I'm just going to catch just the tips. The camera doesn't really pick it up very well on the model here, but in person, it does have a nice metallic golden shine to it, which looks really cool. You could skip this step completely if you wanted to, but I like the effect it gave me, so I decided to go ahead and do it. It does show up a little bit better on the whiskers, I find, and it kind of blends those yellows together as well, because it is kind of a darker gold, an old gold color. which is really, really cool. But that's it. You could take the yellow even brighter, but I didn't want to. I didn't want too bright of a yellow because I didn't want his facial hair to be the only focal point on the model. But as you can kind of see there is a bit of a gold tint to it, a gold look. But that's it, guys. That's painting the facial hair and the tail of the Fulung Devourer. The model's almost done. We just have a couple of little details to do, and then we'll get started on the rider. Thanks, guys, for watching the video. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. You know, same deal. Share. Follow me on Facebook, and I will have a link to my Patreon account. Again, guys, see you in the next video, and have a great day.